Alrighty, welcome back. This is episode something. I want to say 7. No Starving Artist podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping dancers and artists get to the next level and achieve higher goals.
Boom.
We got a really special guest. It's our first in-person guest, first in-person podcast. So we have Marcquet Hill. The crowd goes wild. I'm going to let him kind of introduce himself, give a little bio, and then we're going to jump right in.
Bet. So thank you for having me, Jason. How long have we known each other? Like,
man,
10 plus years?
Every once in a while, I'll go back and look at like the Stormtrooper video, and it was way too long ago. Way too long ago.
That part, exactly.
I would say like over 10 at this point.
Yeah, it has to be. Because we were kids, and we're definitely no longer kids. But yeah, my name is Marcquet. I'm from Provo, Utah. I grew up dancing since I was about 12. Started at my, my middle school ballroom team. Then I went to a private studio and started training at Center Stage. I was at Vibe, competition kid.
Damn.
We did HHI. We went to China. We did a lot of stuff like training-wise as a kid, like a bunch of random stuff, which I think was super helpful to start a professional career. Yeah. Because we got used to things being last minute, things changing, doing a bunch of different styles of dance at once, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Audition for So You Think You Could Dance, season 11. Gotta do the you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Season 11, top 16. Went on the tour, moved out to LA, worked with Selena Gomez, Jason Derulo, Caliucci's, a couple commercials, a little TV stuff. And then most recently, you could tell about a unicorn. I've been working for Magic Mike Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on the tour. We were out in Miami, and next we're going to Dallas.
Bet.
It's Dallas.
Coming straight for you, Dallas. That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, what's super interesting, I feel like I always like have like a common ground with everybody that I talk to. And where ours is weird is like, because we're not that far off in age.
No.
But I started like in the studio space, but teaching. Like I never danced at a studio. But you were like studio kid. But we both got to watch like the past 10-ish plus years of like studio in Utah evolve.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like... Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's
like, what's your like seeing it now and seeing like where it was then, even though it wasn't even like 10 years is not that long. But even just that progression from when you started till now, what's different? What's like, how would you characterize the competition scene in Utah today?
I would say, like, when it comes to the bigger competitions, like the Break the Floors, the Jump Nouveau, all those types of events, we get a lot more recognition in Utah now. I mean, sure, it was on the schedule before, but now it's like a thing. It's like, oh, they're going to Utah, and like they know they're going to see certain studios, and like I feel like the top level has elevated crazy high. There's now all the access in the world to outside choreographers and all of that. It's not necessarily confined to a specific group. You know what I mean? Like everyone kind of has access, especially with the internet. You can send a DM and you might be able to get a great teacher to your studio that before you might not have even thought to try to get them out. You know what I mean? I feel like...
Yeah. I don't think I've ever thought about that.
Yeah. Like... It's as easy as that. Back in the day, not back in the back in my day. But we would get people to guest teach based off of running into them at an event.
Right.
So you had to physically be at the event. You had to see somebody that was dope, and then you had to convince them in that small space in that moment to try to come to your studio.
Do you think it's better or worse now?
I think it is different. Yeah.
Because here, like, while you're saying this, here's my thought: is like, there's obviously a big discrepancy between like video, like what you see online, and then watching somebody in person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's always been a thing. Like you'll see, like, I remember watching certain dancers online and being like not really getting it, and then seeing them in person and being like, oh, I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like it's almost like at that point in time, you were maybe able to qualify people better because you were watching their stuff like in person live.
Because then you could see if you actually felt it.
Right.
Not, okay, I mean, that looked cool. Like they had to make you feel something, and then that feeling drove you to bring them in.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it like that.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know, it's just different. It's different.
No, it's definitely different. But I will say, I think because competition has expanded and competitions keep getting bigger, I think there's a little bit too much of a focus on it, and not necessarily people dancing for the sake of dance or training simply to get better at a thing and enjoy the thing. I think competition is kind of taken over to a degree where we forget why we do this stupid little thing called dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because somebody put on a song and you liked it, so you moved. Like that's...
Do you think it swings back ever?
It will have to, because eventually people will tire of the status quo. Not necessarily a bad thing, but they'll get tired of doing the same old thing and they'll want to do something different. When we came up, we had, I mean, I got it tatted on me. We had Yudo. You know what I mean? We had all of these different groups that were doing community-based things and then reaching out to the kids. And that's how we got brought into the fold. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got to fall in love with dance and the community. But when everything is competition, you forget to build community. And the community is where people thrive.
Yeah. It's really interesting to me that like in... Because I have like a corporate side of my life. Like I have like a normal marketing job at a normal business. And so it's like the biggest thing that's been weird to me with studios and with like other industries is there's a lot of collaboration in other industries amongst businesses.
Right.
But dance studios almost refuse to collaborate. Like it's very, very hard to get studios to work together on things. And I've always found it so strange because I feel like it would be, not only would it like foster that community aspect, but it would allow everybody to grow more. Because at the end of the day, like certain studios are just not a good fit for certain dancers and parents and teachers. But if you don't even know where to refer those kids to because you're not connected with the studios around you, then at some point we're degrading the entire process because you end up with kids at studios that probably shouldn't be at those studios. Oh yeah. And I feel like that it goes back to competition. Yeah. It's because they know I have to see you in February at Intrigue, and my studio is not gonna talk to your studio and this, that, or the third. Right. Acting like these kids don't go to school together. You know what I mean? Like, which is crazy too, because it's like I tell dancers a lot, like, get to know people at competition, because those peers that you're dancing with now are the people that you're going to be dancing with in LA or New York or Atlanta or wherever you decide to go. Like, those are the people you're going to be hitting up to like get an apartment with or like split bills with. Like, so it's like, that's the other aspect of it is like competition. I feel like at this point is taking so much away instead of adding because of a lot of those reasons. Because it's like completely destroying the community aspect of dance. Yeah. It makes it so much more difficult to build bridges. Yeah. And like you're saying, like your peers, I see Haley Payne more than I see anybody that I grew up dancing with in the studio. And she grew up in Ogden. Yeah. That's like an hour and a half, hour 45 from where I was as a kid. Yeah. We would only see each other in Utah at random events. Then we did Odyssey together. Yeah. And then we both moved out to LA at similar times. Yeah, so like I would see her at class. I would see her on jobs, just out and about. Right. Just another homie, a friendly face. Yeah. But she wouldn't be that same friendly face if there wasn't this community feeling when we were kids that brought us together. Yeah. That made it be like, oh, every time I see you, you're at a different studio, but I'm so glad that you're at this event too. You know what I mean? So what's different in your eyes? Like, besides time, what's different? Is it just social media? Is it just, what is it that's made the switch, do you think? I don't know. I would say maybe it's a combination of multiple factors. And I think that social media, it's not a buzzword. It's not a lightning rod, but it is both a buzzword and a lightning rod. People say social media just for you to look, and then it catches all the flack for everything. Yeah. But
there's some truth to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the rise of individual fame or notoriety in dance, I would say is another driving factor in the separation of community. Yeah. Because like, it's like what people complain about American individualism. When you're such an individual, you forget about how many people you need around you to help you thrive. So when everyone's trying to create individuals, or they want to be the individual, their individual studio gets the notoriety. I don't want to share that with anyone else.
I mean, everybody's got fans now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
everybody's famous in their own little bubble online.
But we just wanted, but it's just about dance. You know
right.
what I mean? I don't know.
Right. That's really interesting. And the other thing, the other hard part too is like, because I feel the same way. Like, obviously, I do a shit ton on social media, like too much on social media. But I also like, so I see the benefits of it, and I see like the great things, even when it comes to dance, like, you know, just the exchange, kind of what you were touching on, like being able to contact people that you wouldn't have been able to contact before. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like I'll have conversations with people in other countries, and it's like, I would have never had those conversations if it wasn't for social media. Right. But then at the same time, it's like, especially from a dancer perspective, in any industry, but like just speaking to dancers, you're constantly seeing like a false narrative of a lot of people's lives. And as a younger dancer specifically, that paints a weird picture that everybody's successful. Right. And that all these dancers are successful. And it's something that I think, like, even when you tell it to dancers, they still don't quite understand it. Like, your favorite dancers are probably still struggling at times.
Oh yeah, they got EBT.
You know what I'm saying? They're probably still like, and it's not like, I'm not saying that in a negative light at all. I'm definitely not going to show like my lowest moments for the whole world to see. You know what I mean? Like, it's human nature to defend yourself in that way. But for a young mind, that's what they're seeing now. They're not seeing like to your point, before it was like you would go to live events. You would see people, you would actually, like, that's how you interacted with dancers. Right. So you kind of knew them a little better, because it's hard to front in really heavy, right? Like when you're there, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when you go to like you go to a battle, or you go to a competition or a convention in another state, and you stay with somebody, like, you're seeing everything, right? But now it's like you're getting, a lot of these dancers are getting this interaction of people really one-sided. And where I'm going with this is, I feel like it further pushes that individualism, because it's like everybody wants that and everybody thinks that they can get that. And so then they push harder at what they see everybody else doing.
Oh yeah. It's like I don't know, not like what came first, the chicken or the egg, but like you see people go for it, and you see people do this thing. Yeah. And then it makes you do that thing. Yeah. And then it kind of perpetuates the cycle of everyone doing the same kind of, chasing the same goal. Right. Yeah. No, and that's difficult, because I got to LA around the social media boom. Right when the Millennium videos really started popping off, and people were posting their individual content, and it was like, if you could get the video at the end of class, like, you was really doing something.
But even that has changed.
Yeah, because now everybody got a video, which
you don't see class videos anymore.
I like the fact that everyone's got their videos. I think that was a solid change for the culture. Yes. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to film class, film all the groups. Why not? Everybody paid to be there. Let them get their little video. All it does is help promote your stuff. Yeah. But even still at that time, like, it was still kind of intimidating. Yeah. To be like, oh, do I want to be that dancer? Do I want to be that person? Like, I know that's what everyone's doing, but is that the thing for me? Like, do I even want to go to class? Because I really don't want to film. I just want to struggle in the back and like mess up the combo a couple times and not feel like there's pressure on, but maybe I should adapt to the pressure. Yeah. I've now talked myself beyond the point, but
let's just move on then. How do you balance that? How do you balance that?
I didn't take class for like the first 3 or 4 years I was in LA. I was barely in class, like very, very. And there was some advice that Hefa Tuita gave me. He said that you can take a bunch of class, but be careful, because the more class you take, the more you'll start to look like you dance in LA. And people hire people for their individual flavor, and too much class and too much training, you can dim down your individual flavor. So be very, very careful, is what he told me. And then the social media boom made me go, well, maybe not. Maybe I don't even want to be in these classes.
Just that push and pull of like, how much do I give up to get what I want?
Exactly.
Even if it means that I'm a little bit uncomfortable.
Right. And then it took finding the classes. Like finding the classes where there was like a whole lot of training, or where I was going to get knowledge from the OGs trickled down through their students. Yeah.
This is a big change too, I feel like, because when you talk to a lot of old heads who went to LA in the earlier days, it was very much about like finding your people and then sticking with those people. And I feel like now another side effect or reaction of social media is that that's not necessarily, it doesn't happen as much. Did you do that when you did you feel like you kind of latched on to certain dancers or groups of people when you went to LA, and then do you feel like that helped or didn't
hurt?
Help? Yeah,
I mean,
hurt.
To me, I think it helped, because I thrive around other people that I think are dope. Yeah. Like when I'm around people that I think are dope, I want to be like them. So like I do things a little bit differently. Yeah. And the time that I moved out to LA, I got out there roughly the same time as like Peter Pinnock or Taylor Thomas, Deanna Jenkins. Yep. Who else? We were all on the company of which no one speaks anymore together.
I was on his Instagram 2 days ago, bro. 2 days ago, I was on his Instagram just checking in.
Yeah. But because we were all in like, what was it? Jade was around, like Alex Simone, like it was all of these dancers that are in. Devic Bull had just moved out to LA. There was so many people that were so dope that I couldn't help but like level myself up because I was in close proximity to them. And that was like the first group of people that I met that was super cool. And then I started hanging out with Kenny Wormald at Playground a bunch and just being around those guys, different energy, but still like really, really good dudes. And then a different skill set that I could pick up on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like for me, latching on to these different groups was just a way to keep myself afloat and sane, because being out there in the city is lonely.
Did you feel like it gave you direction too? Whether it was like a roadmap, or whether it was just like bumpers almost to keep you kind of going where you wanted to go?
I would say bumpers, and then like ideas of where I could go. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you meet people and you see what they're doing, and you're like, well, I might not be able to do exactly that, because clearly that's your path, that's your goal, that's your thing. Yeah. But what's something that makes me feel the way that thing makes you feel? Yeah. What's something that I want to pursue the way that you're pursuing that? Yeah. You have this interesting thing, like the homie Charlie Bartley. He is a writer and he does stand up, and like he wants to write movies and all this different stuff. And learning that about him made me go, well, what am I doing? What else could I potentially latch myself onto, simply because you're a multifaceted person? Yeah. What else is there about me?
Yeah. Do you think there's I don't know who I had this conversation with. It might have been Jeffrey, but do you think there's like a negative connotation around dancers doing other stuff? Like, do you think it's like, because I here, let me just like blatantly say, because it will make more sense. I have felt that if I admit to doing things outside of dance, it somehow makes my success in dance feel not as good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%. Is what the podcast is not a starving artist. However, dancers pride themselves. It is like, it's battle scars. It shows how much you loved this, is how much you starved for it. And when you stop starving, people are like, but you're not starving like I'm starving. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this I love it more than you because I'm struggling more than you.
Yeah.
Which is facts. But sometimes you have to stop struggling. Like sometimes you do have to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
The unfortunate reality is that there is a clear cap on what you can do and how much income you can make as a professional performer.
I don't think people, like, especially younger dancers, really quite grasp that there are very, very, very few individuals that are making. I want to be careful with my choice of words because money is so different for all people.
Say the U.S. median average?
Yes. That, but then, like, I feel like there's younger dancers who think that, like, they equate fame and followers and recognition to money. But there is probably 5 or less dancers that are making, like, a significant amount of money.
Like significant.
Like a significant amount of money.
And
like enough money to live on your own and get a home in LA.
Oh, a home?
You get what I'm saying? Like there's I think if we had if there was like a pay stub showcase, I think a lot of these younger dancers would be like, I'm super good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to college.
Oh God.
And not that it's not all about money, but I do think it's important for up and coming dancers to understand that, like, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. We get showbiz is a big pie. We get a very, 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 very small piece of that big pie, which is why dancers transition into things that get them bigger pieces.
Yep.
It's why everyone transitions into acting.
Yep.
It's because the money is there.
Yep.
So pick up some other skills is all I'm saying. Like if
And here is the greatest segue of all time. Are dancers paid too little?
So there's two answers. There is the answer of the dancer and the person that knows what it took for me to acquire these skills, and then comparing these skills on a professional level to other fields.
Okay.
The stakes aren't as high, but I'm just as good, so they should pay me more. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like this is
Yep.
This is 10 plus years of like intense training in lots of different styles.
Right.
I am not tooting my own horn, but I don't know anyone that does all of them the way that I do them. Like, you should pay me more.
Yeah.
But there's the other side that is going to school for accounting and like understands how operations work. It is very hard to put in, or what is it, to quantify the value that dance brings to a thing. And from the minds of the higher ups, it is always the easiest to skimp on because you can always find someone else.
Yeah.
Because to them, dance is not this highly specific and specialized, trained thing. They see it as anyone can dance because you can't trademark dance moves. You can't copyright dance moves. So the way the U.S. government sees it and the way the law sees it is that anybody can do it.
It's very different.
Yeah. So they will always be able to use that justification to pay you less. And because their motivation is their bottom line, you can't fault them for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's how they take care of their families, is by protecting that bottom line.
Yeah.
So if they have to make a sacrifice on your pay, to them it's just dance and it doesn't really matter. So like I see the other side.
Well, and it's super easy to like not realize how much money actually goes into a project or a show or
absolutely,
you know what I mean? And like it's like, I think sometimes it's just misunderstanding that just because a show, let's use a show for example, is making X amount of dollars, you know, they sold this many tickets, that doesn't mean that money is just going in someone's pocket and they're just calling it a day and moving on.
Exactly.
So it's
because putting on shows is expensive.
It's so much money,
and nobody from the performer standpoint has enough appreciation for what that cost is to get a show up, especially when, unfortunately, entertainment is a luxury.
So
it's money. It's exuberant amounts of money that is spent towards a thing that is a luxury.
Yeah.
And then while, yes, it is our livelihoods and we're asking for more, in the context, it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very hard sell without like some very, very specific points. And I would say like some paperwork behind it. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think, in your opinion, does dance ever reach a point to where there's like a Kobe Bryant of dance? Is there any avenue where dance gets to that point? Pay, recognition, all the above.
We had our Kobe Bryant, and unfortunately, we just lost him. Like they lost Kobe. It's like Superman's gone.
That's a... Yeah. I mean, in terms of... Yeah, I had never thought about that.
Yeah.
In terms of like recognition, the whole thing.
He was dance.
I would agree. Yeah.
For a lot of America, that was dance for them.
Yeah, which is so strange that like we're talking about one person in a pool of thousands, but there was a time when there was more of those people.
Right.
You know, there was a time when you had your Gene Kelly and your Fred Astaire, and you had these people that were put, even more recently, Michael Jackson. Like, you had these people that were like recognized with dance, with this, similar to how Twitch was.
Right. Yeah, and we only had the one, whereas in other generations, you could have multiple people like that. I feel like that's more indicative of where entertainment has gone. People don't have to do all the things, and they also realize that doing all the things is expensive. So, if you focus on the one thing, or if it's like, we just have to shoot the acting. We're not going to dance in the movie. We don't have to hire a choreographer. We don't have to schedule a rehearsal. We don't have to We don't have to figure out how to shoot it. We don't have to. You know what I mean? It immediately mixes a bunch of things.
You're saying top down, the integrity of entertainment has come down.
Essentially, yeah, because it's not necessarily about the entertainment above all else.
Yeah,
people are trying to make money.
Yeah,
and then when we do things like switch to streaming, and we lose ad revenue, and then suddenly these studios do not have the money to pay for entertainment.
Yeah,
like they can't do the big production because they can't run commercials.
Yeah.
They can't have all the different sponsorship things, because it's going to Netflix. You know what I mean? Or like people aren't going to the movie theaters, so then you can't even get a deal with the movie theater.
Yeah.
Like it all comes down to money. And when there's not enough money, the people at the lowest rung are going to stop getting paid. So they're going to stop paying extras. They're going to stop paying us.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's just how it works. They can't touch the crew because they're unionized, but
right. And it's not to say that the talent is less talented or less crucial, but in terms of, if we're just talking production value, in the eyes of like corporate, the talent shows up on the day of the shoot, they shoot, and that's it.
Exactly.
You know?
Dance requires rehearsal.
Right.
Mad rehearsal.
Right.
And those rehearsals are expensive.
Right. But they're not on, but it's also not in the eyes of like the director or the producer of a show is not coming and sitting in on every single rehearsal.
Oh, I thought it was, no.
But they're seeing every single lighting person, every single PA every day on set. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Because they have their hands in all the other things so much more.
Yeah.
And the dancers are just like, yeah, you just do the dance.
Yeah.
People always just think, oh, just do the dance. And there'll be situations where like the director will be like, well, can you guys do it like this? And we'll look to the choreographer, and the choreographer is like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what we can do is always the answer. It's never no. It's never you're crazy or you don't even know what you're talking about. It's always, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah,
and then they condense, and then we go over to the corner and we talk mess for a hot second because we're like, this person doesn't even know. All right, guys, we're going to do it like this. And we all be like, bet. And then we come out. We do not what the director asked. We do something that actually looks good. And the director goes, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. Okay, let's backtrack for a second because I had this and then I forgot and then it came back to me. Do you feel like did you underestimate, when you moved to LA, did you underestimate what it was going to be like?
Oh, yeah. Because I had no idea.
In what ways?
I thought it was going, especially because my head was way too inflated from doing So You Think You Can Dance. I thought this shit was going to be sweet. I was like, I'm going to go out to LA. I'm going to be booking. I'm going to do tours. I'm going to do this. And I was eating at the 99-cent store for a solid year because I was across the street from my apartment. And I could do Postmates, cash out that day, go to the store, buy food, get a little bit of gas, put the rest away for rent. And then just like sit in my room. Like, it was a for real struggle.
Yo.
But
and class is like 15, 20.
Exactly. So like I was real, and that was another reason I was real selective about what class I was taking, because I was like, I could pay this $15, but you're currently not choreographing for anyone. I don't know who your OGs are. I'm not disrespecting you or your class. I'm just saying I got to make my $15 count. So I'm waiting for Marty's class, or when Fly Styles is going to do a random pop-up on the Millennium on Lancashire, because we got to be specific about our Millenniums. Or like, maybe I'll take Sean Evaristo's class, but maybe. You know what I mean? Like, it was because ML was just a little bit further from my apartment than Millennium was, and the $2 difference in that Uber might kill me. But no, it was a lot different. And then I also didn't understand how any of the industry worked. Like, I didn't understand the communicating with your agents and how when you put in work and they can recognize and they see it, they put in more work for you. I didn't quite understand what that relationship was yet. I didn't understand the networking outside of the people that are choreographing for this person or that person, and the importance of those relationships. I didn't get it. I didn't quite understand just showing up and being around for like the carnivals, the jetés, and trying to hop into people's pieces just because it meant you got time on stage. Didn't get it. What else? What else was a complete underestimation of living in Los Angeles? You got to drive everywhere. Yeah. It's not a city you can move to without a car. Luckily, I had one. But everything is far. Everything is traffic. Yeah. You essentially have to live where the dance studios are, because if you don't, and you talk to those people that live in like K-Town or maybe they're in Culver, it's like, bro, everything is so far.
Yeah. And rent is super cheap.
Oh, yeah. Pennies.
When you say like connections with people outside of just like, say, a choreographer or a casting agent, what do you mean?
Okay. Perfect example. Magic mic on my chest. What was it? I can't remember how many years ago, but it was before I even moved out to LA. Kenny Wormald, Misha Gabriel, Nick Bass, they taught a workshop in Salt Lake City, and I was one of maybe 5 people in the room, which was very, very convenient. And they were like, oh, bro, like, you do this. When are you moving out to LA? And I hadn't quite figured it out yet. Whatever. I move out to LA. I run into those guys, and I was just like, oh, I'm around. Kenny hits me up because he's just been teaching. He was doing, I think Playground had already started, and I'd maybe taken one class. And he was like, oh, there's this guy, Mike Stud. He's doing a music video. We just need guys. Okay. I don't know what the pay is going to be like, but like, are you down? And I was like, sure, whatever. Yeah. You know, just to be around, just to like hang out, get the experience, whatever. Yeah. People say exposure doesn't pay my bills. Maybe. We did a concert with the dude. Again, all of this is for free. Okay. Because I'm just hanging out. Yeah. Kenny's like, after that, don't pay for my class. Just like anytime you come around, just come around. Okay. And that's how I met the rest of like the guys that I would hang out around in the playground. Charlie, Anthony Bartley, Shane Bruce, Rex.
Yeah.
Dexter on occasion. Vince Castillo is always out there, like just kicking it. Really, really good dudes. Loving to dance. Jake Brandorf. Shout out to Jake Snake. Mm-hmm. And we would just be around each other. We knew what type of guys we were, so it was comfortable to be around because not everyone is a fantastic person.
Right.
So when you find good people, you got to stick close to them.
Yeah.
And just through that relationship, years later, I'm home after the pandemic, just posting workout videos. Charlie hits me up and he's like, "Yo, would you do Magic Mike?" I was like, yes.
Yes, I will.
Yes, I would. And then he was like, "All right, cool. So there's an audition. Like, we'll contact your agents. They should be letting you know. If they don't let you know, let me know because you absolutely need to be there, blah, 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 blah." And all of this came from being cool with dudes that I would just take class with because I did a free music video.
Yeah.
Like several years ago.
Yeah.
And now I got a job. And it was just off being cool with Charlie.
How much free work have you done, you think?
A lot. So much. I will do it to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes the experience is worth it. And
do you have like a internal unspoken gauge of like, yes, I will do this or no, I won't? Like, how do you decide?
Is it going to be fun? Is usually the first like criteria. Because what did Drake say? The second I'm not having fun with it, I'll be done with it. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. If it's not fun, I'll do accounting. If I'm not going to have fun, I'll go make more money. Like, the fun is the trade-off on this.
Yeah.
So first thing is, is it gonna be fun?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do I get to travel? Because traveling is always a good time. Yep. And then like, what's the team and what's the stage? Like, if I'm gonna have fun, if I'm gonna get to travel somewhere I haven't been before or I haven't been to in a while, you know what I'm saying? Somebody I get to go back to. If it's going to be with people that I like and enjoy and like, or a group of people I've never worked with before that I want to, you know what I'm saying? If it's an opportunity to get in front of new eyes I've never been in front of, I'm taking that.
Yeah.
And then if this, like the actual setting of the event is going to be something that's cool and like worthwhile to the extent of like, I've either never done it before. Yeah. It's even like with industrial work, because I did some stuff with Randy Strong. We were out in Columbus, and I can't remember what the company was for or what company the event was for. Yeah. But just the setup was super, super cool. It was like the big convention center. I got to choreograph for the first time. I was like, oh, yeah, 1,000%. We recently did doTERRA, and I got to choreograph a number for that in the, I'm going to call it the Delta Center because it's coming back. But I got to choreograph and perform in the Delta Center. And like, I've been wanting to do that since I was a kid. So like, some things are worth more than money. I don't know.
Do you have like a like, how do you know when it goes from like somebody's giving me an opportunity and they may just not have enough budget to taking advantage of you? Do you have like a number in your head? Like, if somebody asks me 3 times, I'm done. Or is it just kind of case by case?
I think it's more case by case.
Yeah.
Because usually you can get the energy from people. Like, you can feel sincerity in someone understanding and respecting what your craft is, but they can't afford it, and they're genuinely asking you for a favor. Yeah. You can feel that. Yeah. And like, when people come to you with that type of like sincere, genuine energy, for me, it's hard to say no to that. Yeah. Because I'm like, no, I get it. And to me, it's just dance. And
we've all been there.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, why not? Why not lend my services? But then the people that are trying to take advantage of you, there's usually like a verbiage that immediately is like a red flag. Like, oh, this will be so great for you. And like, they're trying to sell you on a thing, not saying, hey, this is just what the situation is. Anytime like you feel that sales pitch, you know that someone's trying to take you for a ride. Yeah. Oh, and this is great for you, and this will be great for your exposure, and you can have access to our audience, and yeah. When someone's just like, hey, this is what it is. I'm sorry, I can't afford to pay you more, or I wish we had the budget for this, that, and the third. We don't have it. Are you still interested in being a part? Yeah. It's like, oh, well, when you say it like that, I am.
Yeah. I'm down.
Yeah.
Did you ever have, and you don't have to like obviously name specific or even specific situations, but did you have any like negative interactions or experiences in LA, and how did you How'd you navigate them?
How did I navigate? Well, I mean, I'll keep it a buck. This is the podcast for dancers. Dancers need to know what it was like. I was fired from Gwen Stefani. Whole cast got fired because we got into a dispute about our contract and our days off and our pay.
Okay. They were just like, cool, see ya.
Yep. They changed they changed the schedule of our rehearsals without letting us know beforehand. We learned through the choreographer at rehearsal.
Yeah.
Which was not how that's supposed to go.
Yeah.
We ended up not getting one of our days off, and then they were adjusting our schedule to take away the other day off and move us into production rehearsals a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
It was understandable because at the time they had just made a switch in the creative team. We were about to go to Las Vegas for her residency like the next week. Like it was a quick thing. Kenny also helped me get this job. So shout out to Kenny Wormald. But yeah, so we had this whole meeting. It turned into this big moment spillover. Rehearsal got canceled. And then that evening, regardless of what our response was to the changes in the contract, all of the dancers were let go.
And they just recasted.
And they had to take a day off to do it. But so that obviously was the biggest negative. I mean, I've had tours end early. Selena Gomez, we were supposed to do Europe and South America, and we did neither. Yeah,
which happens.
Yeah, it happens. Bieber's tour cut
all
short.
The time.
Yeah,
like, every Bieber tour.
Yeah, I mean, people get sick. People have.
Yeah.
I don't think I could completely understand and like fully empathize with the struggle and the pressure of doing an international tour like that. And you're headlining it, 100%. And all these people are buying tickets, and all of these people have invested. Like, yeah. So like that stuff happens, whatever. But being fired was tough. Like, super tough.
Yeah.
I think the thing that made it the easiest to bounce back from that was being around people and being around community.
Yeah.
Like from there, I started spending a bunch of time at Playground. That was like the thing that jump started me into it. Because I was in Las Vegas doing Baz at the Palazzo for a while. So I had been out of LA for almost like 2 years consecutively between touring and then going to Vegas.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I was searching for that community feeling. And then I was supposed to be gone again on a gig, but suddenly I wasn't. So I had to figure out LA again. Yeah. And community is what did it. It's being around other people. You're not struggling alone because everyone's struggling. Everyone feels that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it just picks your own spirits up.
Yeah.
And then like hyper focused on dance. I was like, I'm gonna get so good at this.
Yeah.
Because I was pissed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you have any like thinking back to when you first went, like what was your feeling and thought? Like you hop in your first class, were you like, did you feel, because obviously when you leave your hometown, you left here and you're like, I'm good. Did you get there and was it kind of like, I'm not that good?
Oh yeah. Because my first experience with what dancers were about to be like was like at convention going to nationals.
Okay.
I remember NYCDA when I was 15, I met China Taylor and I saw George Lawrence both dance. And these are very different dancers, but like China is the truth.
Yeah.
And George is the most fantastic dancer, and like he's an amazing teacher, and his career is just going and going and going. And of course, like we're kids at the time, but I was like, okay, this is what dance is. Got it. And then I went to Monsters like right before I went out to LA, and I saw what like the commercial and hip hop dance world was about to be like, and I was like, oh, okay, got it. I got somewhere to go. And then moved to LA, and that's where they all were.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know about the Pulse Kids back then. Like I didn't even know what they was
we
on.
Were on that was like one of our yearly conventions.
Oh man, that would
So like we watched like Sean Liu come up and like when they like we were going to Pulse when he was like 10.
Yeah.
Like, and so it was like, yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah. I was unprepared.
Yeah, Pulse was crazy.
Yeah. And then on top of that, there's like the seasoned vets.
Yeah.
And that's a different type of energy. Because it's not.
It's different.
It's not showy.
No.
But it's
you can't quantify it.
I don't know.
You can't train it either.
No.
That's the thing I think a lot of dancers misunderstand is that like maturity in dance only comes from maturity in dance.
Yep. You just do it a bunch.
You can't, and you can't explain it. You just, when you see it, you get it.
Right? Going to Marty's class and seeing the roast squad.
Yeah.
IRL.
Yeah.
It's like a movie.
That's how it was when I saw Jay Blaze for the first time. Because to me, he's one of those people you see, when you see him on camera, it's like, okay. Like it's dope. But you're just like, okay. When you see it in person, it's like, okay.
You can seriously
okay.
That's
when
facts.
when you watch somebody make a combo look so easy, then you're like, yeah.
And you can hear that they're stepping and dancing full out, but it looks so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's the truth.
It's unexplainable.
Because I feel like when the musicality is too good, it's like, oh, hey, you're dancing on beat. I get it. But then when you see that musicality for real and you can notice like the texture change in the same groove that was repeated 3 times, but it's on 3 different accents. Mm-hmm. So you got to do it different each time. Yeah. Nah, it's something else. It's something else.
It really is.
And it's the maturity, like you said. Like it only comes from doing this shit over and over. Because
things just like little doors just open as you move through your dancing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Doors you don't even realize were closed until they open, and then you're like, oh, cool. Like, this is great.
Right.
Now I can like hear music better. Cool. And it's like, I feel like it just happens. Like you do it long enough with enough intention and focus, and it's like, cool.
Right.
We're here.
Right. Yeah. And it's wild to see it happen to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'll watch clips of meeting class from like 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I was dancing. And then I'll watch some stuff I do now. I'm like, oh, someone was paying attention. Fantastic. Yeah. Like, you picked up some tricks there, sir.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Especially because I keep going back to it. It's freaking Marty's class.
Yeah.
That was the one. Because that style never made sense to me as a kid.
Nope.
I was like,
nope.
You're dancing.
Nope.
But you're not dancing.
No.
So I'm on the fence about this.
Yeah.
And then I would just keep going to his class because I knew he was one of the last of the Mohicans that was still out there teaching.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get in it. And like over the years of trying to figure out how to make that sort of thing work, it's changed how I dance other styles as well. Yeah. Because I'm like, well, if I can try to have that control and clarity there, I can do control and clarity in other things. Right. A little bit differently. You know what I mean? Like it changes the approach. And then spending an ungodly amount of time with Misha Gabriel and getting like all that trickle down knowledge and like all the trickle down stuff from Nick Bass and like just all of these different smooth cats. Or like the Alcamon Jones 4-finger blade. If you don't know, that's the truth. You want a clean line? Yeah. 4-finger blade. Yeah. Or what's called like a little penguin hand. Yep. Wasn't paying attention to these things. You know what I'm saying? It helps.
The amount of times
am I going to fully jazz hand it? Is it a fist? Like details.
What are the specifics? Yeah. The amount of times I've over danced a Marty class is every time.
Is every time.
Is every time.
It's so hard.
And every time I go into it saying I'm not going to.
Right? You go into it, you're like, all right.
And then I do.
This is the time I'm going to chill.
I'm like, just this time, he's going to like it. He doesn't.
Right. It took some extensive effort. And it was funny because he would remember who I was. Like, oh, yeah. Like, I know you are. You're working on it.
Keep trying.
Yep. Keep going. I see your effort.
Yeah.
But hey, just to be acknowledged by the GOAT is enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what now? What's your plan to kind of move forward in this space of like where we are today in dance? Or is it up for debate?
I have no idea. I got into dance on a whim.
Yeah.
Because I was playing the drums at the time, and the way that my middle school was set up, their curriculum, I had to take the prerequisite drum class or percussion class in order to move up.
Okay.
But I'd already been playing for like 4 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, bro, I'm good. So I just quit doing like band and stuff in school.
Yeah.
And I signed up for dance because there was going to be girls in it.
Yeah.
It was social dance at Centennial Middle School taught by Kim McIntyre.
Hey.
Shout out to the program. But yeah, so like I got into dance on a whim. I got into the studio because the studio owner was like, well, my daughter needs a partner and we've exhausted all the boys at the studio. So like, you trying to come here? And I was like, sure. And then I got into the other stuff because the other studio owner was like, we'll give you a scholarship, but you got to do everything. Yeah. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, this has all been not really in my control from the jump.
That's the key.
Yeah, I'm just going with it. I just like dance. So I'm like, well, whatever it takes me is where it takes me. Yeah. I'll look for an exit when it's time. Yeah. I'll look for the next thing when it's time. But for now, I'm just on the ride. Yeah. Which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just out here giving lap dances, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Magic Mike Live.
Dallas
That's
Fort
crazy.
Worth Metroplex. There it is.
That's crazy.
Had to put the whole thing on it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wrapping up, what is the before we get into this critique, which we'll talk about in a second, I always like to ask, like, what's your if you could give one little nugget to an up and coming dancer out there, what would it be?
You have to love it. You have to love it more than you want the fame or the notoriety. You have to love the thing more than what you can get from the thing. Not to get like deep and spiritual and all that, but when what is it in the Alchemist? When you love a thing with your whole heart, the universe conspires to give it to you. So if you love it, you'll have it. I wanted to perform. I didn't really have any stipulations on what performing meant. I just knew like I would love that if I could pay my bills being a performer. Yeah. And the path that I've taken is a little bit less traditional. Yeah. I've done a lot of random stuff. Like I was a ballroom dancer in a musical. Yeah. Did a pop tour. I ran a ballroom program for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I've done all of these random things because I was still able to be around dance because that's really all I wanted. Yeah. I got to perform. There was butts in the seats. That's really all I wanted. Yeah, yeah. And my bills were paid. That's kind of all that I really wanted. Yeah. So like, if you love it, it will come. Yeah. If you love the other stuff, you're gonna get into trouble. It's gonna get a lot messier because it's not dance that's driving you. It's something else. And if the dance is the first thing, if you put the first thing first, you'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you stop loving it, you can do something else. Yeah. The world's a big place. There's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah. There's a lot of other ways to get your bills paid or to fulfill yourself or to do all of those other things. But if you love this, it'll all come to you. Yeah.
There's nothing to follow that up with. Let's move on. New segment on the podcast. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. So I told Marquette this is new this episode, but since we started a lot of this with critiquing dance, I figured why not critique dance? So we are going to watch this BYU Cougarettes NDA Hip Hop National Champions 2023 part the Red Sea.
Wow. Go Cougs. P-Town stand up.
This is going to be like just an impromptu. I have not watched this. Have you watched this?
No. I watched their jazz one because my boy Rudy did it. Bet. And I watched the UVU jazz one. Yeah. Because my boy Rudy did it. Shout out to Rudy Abreu.
I have seen like an up-close clip of this routine. That's about it. Gotcha. And it was like a TikTok video. So this is new. This is new for both of us. And we'll just jump in. If you want me to pause at any time, let me know. Let's do it.
Run it.
Let's do it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought the song was like a transition song. Like we've been waiting for the music. This is nasty though. So so I'm pausing it now. So I talked a lot about like intros of pieces. Great.
Oh yeah, that was solid. It was simple.
Yeah.
In a way that made you focus on what they were doing.
Yeah. And
then they were able to hide their little setup of the moment really, really well.
Yeah.
Because there was simplicity happening.
Yeah, 100%.
Make it rain on it. 100 times.
So here's the other thing too. We'll see. I feel like it's gonna happen because it always happens with these pieces. But I feel like with these collegiate routines, they a lot of times do too much at the same time.
I was literally just thinking.
And then I have no clue. Like I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking.
That's the tea.
Yeah, that was like that was like that wasn't really that terrible. Like it just reminded me of that thought. Mm-hmm. But they do it all the time.
Yeah, it's a trick. So you don't watch anybody individually because you're not supposed to. And this is not to take away from anybody that dances on the collegiate team. I just have to say that now. Just saying that now.
Yeah.
If you never watch the individuals and you just watch the team, you can always be far more impressed. Because the impressive thing is watching it happen in unison.
Yeah.
But like because the choreography isn't overly complicated, if you watch one individual do it, it's like, eh.
Yeah.
That's just how choreographing these type of routines work. That is not a dig at anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why it's always so busy.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I can appreciate it.
Because the people on the sides aren't doing much.
Yeah. It's all just like contributing to the... I feel like that level should have been a lot lower. Like this transition into this moment, that like dynamic change should have been a lot bigger. It's a really, really interesting song choice for this like setting.
What I was thinking as well.
See, that's one of the things. Everybody that watches my stuff knows probably exactly what I'm gonna say. I don't get that. I don't get that trick on the side.
Which trick?
Exactly.
Oh, the back walkover.
Yeah, the little back. Like I don't get it.
It's got to be a scoring thing.
You think it's a scoring thing?
It's got to be a scoring thing.
Just like a checkbox they're trying to hit.
Exactly.
Because it just like, I guess I should elaborate. Like it just adds no value to the piece itself.
None whatsoever. And it's like when they step prep into the largest Alice Cone turn section you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
It adds nothing to the dance, but because of the scoring and like the slight flex factor, they're like, we're still gonna do it. And we're all gonna stop while that one chick does 8 turns to finish it, and then Shanae's into an aerial.
Yes.
Or we all Shanae and we all catch the aerial together, which is unbelievably hard. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It is. Fair.
Oh, she did a little 360 with it.
Yeah, she did a little thing. Do you think this section's too long?
Oh, I don't know if it's gonna switch.
You don't think it's gonna switch?
I don't know. I hope it does, but like we'll see.
For me and my like can't focus mind, but even for just the general like energy of the piece, it's too long.
Facts.
Too long.
Yeah.
Like the piece is 2 minutes. We're halfway in. It's the same track, and it's like a
very slow R&B track.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's 20 appeal. Rain up and check it. This petty big getty made 20 more meals.
That was dope.
Trying to export with me, but she don't know.
That was nice.
There's not a. This piece is like kind of confusing me because I've watched a lot of these pieces. There's really not a lot of transitions. There's not a lot of anything.
No, I mean, it's not a lot of hip hop, but. But it's still good choreography. It's still good dancing.
Ask me why when I tell dancers, like, I'll teach classes. I'll just tell dancers, I'm like, what you guys take at convention, 99% of the time is not hip hop.
No,
you're not taking hip hop.
No, unless your teacher is. Because then you get to the conversation of what actually falls under the house of hip hop, because a lot of these styles that we now call hip hop are local cultural dances. Yeah. Like most famously, crump is not hip hop.
No. Yeah.
It never was. Yeah. It never will be.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it gets thrown into it. So like, is juking hip hop? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Miami crank dancing? Is that hip hop?
Yeah.
I don't know, because Phil Wright teaches a lot of it, and it's cultural and it is specific, and it goes to hip hop music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But is it part of the family?
Yeah.
Do we know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
no,
know.
We don't know. We don't know. But yeah, this is, I don't know. This is not what I expected.
Yeah.
There's an up close version. We're gonna watch the up close. What's happening? Whips and riding stolen. Hop and jump on the chopper and go to the hills. My youngin' go Call of Duty with that chop kill. Yeah, again, it's like the other one. Like I feel, I don't know. I always try to like qualify to kids too. Like I don't hate tricks across the board, but like there's a way to do them that makes sense and purposeful. This to me. Jump on the chopper and go to the hills. My youngin' go Call of Duty with that chop kill. Like if it wasn't there, would we really miss it?
I love this song though.
This is a dope transition.
Nice. That was tough.
Yeah, this is dope.
Hate the clap.
That was a sick little transition. I feel like there's not a lot of dynamics like levels wise in the piece.
That was tough.
That was cool. The ending was dope. Final thoughts. It's a I feel like I always have to say this. It's a great routine. It's
Solid.
A great routine.
Solid routine.
And like I said, this against majority of teams, smash. But it wasn't apparently all of them. But it wasn't what I was expecting at all.
Yeah. Which I will say, I am glad that someone is taking a risk with these routines.
Yeah.
Because that CB intro was so much different than what I expected. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, at least the needle's moving.
And maybe that's what it was.
The break-in moments, the needle is moving.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe compared to the rest of the routines that were there this year, this stood out that much.
Mm-hmm. Because I would imagine everyone else is still doing the same royal family routine from 2018.
Yes, 100%. And this was not that at all.
And this wasn't that. No. It was something different.
And I will give it to him, too, that it was there was some really stylized moments that I think they did really well.
Yeah.
But they were still really stylized, if that makes sense. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like
the whole intro. Boom, boom.
Yes.
Boom, boom.
And I think dance, like it's easy to misunderstand how truly difficult it is to do things like that when you're not in it all the time. And these collegiate teams are not in it all the time. Not even close. So it's like for them to even get that level of execution, I think is dope. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel, it wasn't what I was expecting. And it just felt a little bit unrefined in terms of the intention. Mm-hmm. But I can see 100% that it stood out just enough against everything else because it was very different. That it just like that's what pushed it to first.
Because how many teams are you really gonna see on their intro hit you with a bunch of textures?
Yeah.
Dope.
The intro is dope. The intro is dope.
It could have been different for personal taste. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, I wouldn't have started that way. Me personally, I would have come out the gate with maybe a little bit more energy. Maybe I would have kept that shorter section because like the very first step that they hit is tough.
Yeah.
I would never change that.
Yeah.
But maybe I would have switched up the energy and then gone more hype quicker.
Yeah.
But the way that they did drag that out, it was still nice. It was still well done.
It was well done, yeah.
Even if it's not my cup of tea, it's still executed at a high level.
Yeah.
Which is crazy how much better these teams have gotten to do their hip-hop routines.
It's insane.
When I was a kid, these routines were laughable.
Yeah.
Laughable. Yeah. Now, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Y'all might know a little two-step or two.
Yeah. The fact that we're even watching like a routine like this and saying like I could potentially see this in a vibe, like speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's a well choreographed routine, And like I said, the other one's dope too. It just wasn't. Maybe that's what it is. It just wasn't my. It wouldn't have been my direction.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember setting pieces like that, and this is again not to knock whoever the choreographer was.
Yeah,
but I remember like, and I still do it when I get put into situations where I don't have all of the time to think of something.
Yes,
I go.
Yeah, this
okay,
is the same thing I'm thinking.
I know I can get this done. I know it has to be this. I know it has to be this.
Yeah.
I want to start with this vibey bit. I don't know where to go after that.
Yes.
Let me just figure it out as I go. I know that these dancers are dope. Yeah. I know that they can execute. So maybe we can just get experimental on this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a reasonable and like that's a thing that happens.
Yeah. Oh,
because sometimes you
100%.
have to get experimental. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like it's one of those routines where now everyone and their dog is going to go back and we're going to see a slew of different styled hip hop routines.
Yeah.
We're going to see
is dope.
some textures. We're going to see some breaking, which is going to be lit because these women are all gymnasts.
Yeah.
So it makes zero sense why they wouldn't
stuff,
excel at breaking if they just were exposed to it.
Yeah.
Which will be dope, especially 100%. When they're going to be in the Olympics. Like, I don't know. Now I'm getting on this different tangent of how
no. But I agree.
Dance is going to be cool.
I agree. Yeah, and I agree 100% with your sort of like story of what could have happened because I think that's really realistic of what happened with that piece. Yeah,
because we've been there.
Yeah, 100. Not yeah. There's some pieces that I've set that should never see the light of day again. They should never. No one should ever watch them. And that's not one of those pieces. Like I'm not saying that piece is. It's not a bad piece at all
by any means.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination.
I think maybe I just built myself up too much, like first place, Cougarettes.
You have certain expectations.
Yeah.
And considering what you've seen from not just the Cougarettes, but from all of these dance teams in the past, it's the same routine over and over.
Yeah, 100%.
But isn't a bad thing because they're always good routines, but like it's the same routine.
100%.
When it's not that, you're like, oh, okay. Getting fancy.
Yeah. Well, that's the scoop. That's the tea.
It's not scalding.
That's the end.
It's drinkable.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.